Welcome to Off Topic, our wonderful sports podcast, starring Tim and Matt, where we always go off topic. Okay, so a couple of things going on. There's some MLB postseason Jay Suck stuff we want to talk about. Preseason, thank you. I always get that wrong. NFL Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Your take, your feelings, your emotions.
Wow, the Super Bowl was not what we expected.
At all.
Philadelphia just came out and on a mission. And, you know, the score's 40-22, but that doesn't tell the story because it was 40-0 until late in the fourth quarter. And you know, they started pulling starters to give their backups some reps in the Super Bowl, which, you know, backups don't usually get in the Super Bowl because the games are a lot closer than this.
It was, yeah.
They got after Mahomes right away.
Philadelphia's defense was on fire.
On fire. Did not let them get comfortable.
A lot of people thought this was a boring game.
Yeah.
And in the context of a blowout, sure it was boring. I found it extremely exciting because I could not believe that the Eagles were doing what they were doing. I kept waiting for the Chiefs to make that end of the first half. They always have some comeback.
Yeah.
They're out of it. Oh, look, they're out of it. And then boom, they score a late touchdown and bang, they're right back in it. They come storming back. What does Philly do? Scores another touchdown.
Yeah.
Like the pick six on that 230-pound corner. Oh my God.
Well, we're watching the game, and I said this is they were starting that drive at the end of the second half, and they're getting the ball back in the end of the first half, and they're getting the ball back in the beginning of the second half. And they were only down, I think it was like 21 points at that time, right?
Still
20
close.
20 points.
One touchdown, you're back in it.
You know, and they get two there, and they're right back in it, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, this is the drive that they're going to come down and score, and then they score in the first drive of the next game, and it's going to be a 2014 game.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody kind of laughed type thing, right? And next thing you know, the next throw was a pick six.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. Like, you do not see that very often.
At all.
You know, from Mahomes.
No.
So, yeah, it would have been 17-0. It would have been 17-0.
You called it because you kept saying that the Chiefs are vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you thought they were going to lose earlier in the playoffs.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And you know what? You weren't wrong. I didn't think they were going to lose, to Buffalo, and there was a Washington they played against.
Yeah, I know. Houston.
Yeah. I am like, I don't think they're that vulnerable. It's till next season after they played like 100 straight games. Now they're going to get banged up. But yeah, they went in Philadelphia. Yeah. It always comes down to one thing and one thing only: who wants it more? And Philadelphia's defense sat down, and literally it's like they spent the whole season dissecting the offense and how do we stop Patrick Mahomes? And it was textbook. They just brought it.
Now, let's be, a little step into reality here too, is that the old Kansas City's O-line was hurting. They had guys playing out of position. They had backups in.
Yeah.
They weren't the O-line of last year.
No.
They weren't the O-line of the season.
No.
They weren't. They had Rashid Rice got hurt, one of their star receivers. He was out. Everybody is kind of bumped and banged up. It was a long season. They weren't the dominant team that you would have expected, but they had always found a ways to win, right? And I thought whoever came out of the Chargers-Houston's games, that the KC was right for picking that first week because they had that bye week. They hadn't played since Christmas Day. I thought, and they went out there, and it was a decent game, but it wasn't close enough to be like, okay, KC looks like they're just catching fire here. The Buffalo game, that was tight. Buffalo
very tight.
I think Buffalo could have won that game.
When it's 2 points in the final, anybody could have won it.
Buffalo could have got that game. KC got through, but they played well. Their defense was good. The offense was good. You come into Philadelphia, and right out of the gate, Philadelphia is in Mahomes' face.
Their defense was unreal. How good. It was the defense that won it for them.
Well, you turn around, and they surgically marched the field and scored.
Yeah.
Surgically. Like, bam, bam, bam.
Jalen Hurts, MVP, and my favorite image of the whole thing was not this picture. Him sitting on the floor in the dressing room, in his underwear, banged up, smoking a cigar with that Super Bowl trophy in front of him.
Yeah.
Everything you've ever worked for in your life, that came down to that moment for him. It was
and Barkley he played lights out. He got those couple of yards every time he needed.
Interestingly enough, the Chiefs' defense was we have to contain Saquon Barkley, and they did it, and it still didn't matter. They did not. He did not get a single big, gigantic, game-breaking play the entire game, and it didn't matter. That is called preparation, man. They knew.
Everybody showed up for that game.
They know, like, they're going to stop Saquon. So let's start thinking. And Philly outcoached them everything, man.
Yeah, I think everybody showed up for that game, and I think there's never been a three-peat for a reason.
Yeah,
and the reason is that that's 3 years that you've played every football game there is.
It is.
That's 3 years of people having tape on you in the postseason. That's 3 years of the bangs and the bruises and people coming after you. And then it's also 3 years of the media. It's 3 years of the grind of the Super Bowl week, of the preparation for it, and getting out every day they have to be out in front of the media.
It's mentally exhausting.
Mentally,
Like,
physically
to win
exhausting.
a Super Bowl is mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
The best image I can ever think of about the toll of a championship was when Mary Lemieux won it with the Pittsburgh Penguins. His wife walked in the dressing room and he bawled his eyes out.
Yeah. So, no, I enjoyed the game just because a little sadistic, but I really enjoyed watching them chase Mahomes around and him not being able to find an out.
Oh, yeah.
You get so used to he's just going to do it because he's Patrick Mahomes. And he just didn't have it that time. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is done. I'm not saying that he's not going to find a way next time.
Yeah.
The guy's a phenomenal player. He is such a competitor.
And it's exciting to watch, and he gives you a reason to tune in every week to what is he going to do next.
Yeah.
Just a magician.
And then, and here's something, guys. Wait, why would you ask a professional athlete if he's going to retire right after he's had a loss in the championship game?
It's not classy at all.
It's stupid. Yeah. Andy Reid got asked that. Travis Kelce got asked that. Are you done? Are you going to retire? How about I deal with this first? How about I process this a bit first?
I'm going to take a shower.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, Travis Kelce's coming back for another year. Well, yeah, because he's got a contract for it. He was always coming back for another year. Like, you guys were the only ones that thought he was going to retire.
Well, yeah, the chatter was that they're going to win the Super Bowl. He's going to retire, and he's going to propose to Taylor Swift. That was everybody else but him and Tay-Tay. And it's like, somebody asked him this in the media week. He's like, no.
Yeah.
No. Like, what are you talking about? This is you guys, not me.
And then the next stupid ones were the referee questions pre-game. Like, oh, so do you feel that you get help from the referees? That's a stupid question. Move on. None of them answered it. None of them were baited by you. Like, seriously. Like, these guys come out and compete at the highest level. Yeah. At the highest level.
And when you're winning, you just get the breaks.
Yeah.
You get the lucky bounces. That's the only way to describe it. Every championship that's ever been won, somebody got a lucky bounce.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and it's just,
No, there were some really, really, really bad questions.
Yeah, but it was a great, I did not expect Philly, so I thought it was a great, really exciting game. I was like, oh my God, they scored again.
I know, I was like, wow, this is going the wrong way quickly, And I felt really bad for my wife who's sitting there with her Kelce jersey on.
Tay-Tay Kelce.
Travis Kelce jersey on, and she was like, it's going to be a 3-peat. She's all excited, right? And I'm like, honey, don't. But and I'm not an Eagles fan, so I mean, I wasn't necessarily cheering for the Eagles. Either. I wanted to see a really good game. I enjoyed the game. The halftime show was a little odd. I'm not a hip hop guy, so I didn't even know who this guy was. And controversy and oh my God, I didn't get it. It's not a bunch of country and western fans didn't like it. Yeah. Not too bad. Yeah.
You get some CW guys in there one year, and you get some hip hop in the next.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna have any rock guys in there because all the top rock bands are guys in their 50s, and no one wants to see like the Foo Fighters anymore.
No.
Or the Rolling Stones, for God's sakes. And so bring on some hip hop. It was different. I don't really get it, but it's not about me. I found it entertaining. I didn't really get it, but I'm not supposed to get it because I'm 57 and I don't watch. I'm not into hip hop. So like,
what I did like, what I cheered when you got the tennis goddess Serena Williams out there.
I missed that part. I was
she's out there
flipping laundry.
They call it crip stepping, but she's dancing up
Oh,
there.
yeah.
She was dancing up on the stage. I'm like, it's Serena.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that
and
was
then
good.
people started bashing her for doing it. Like,
I know, like-
what more do you want this woman to do?
Why do people complain about everything?
Everything. I
I'm
mean, of course she's
complaining
gonna
about
like.
people complaining.
She's from Compton. Like,
Yeah.
this is her jam. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
and then dude here throws something out to Drake, which is like, huh?
Oh, him and Drake have been going at it for a while. Yeah, in the music. I've heard about that. That was the only way that I knew who he was. I had never heard a song with him. But I guess there's actually some legal stuff because he's accused Drake of being with underage girls.
Oh,
Like, and he disses him in his song about being with underage girls.
Oh.
So Drake's like, I'm going to sue you. And he's like, bring it because I got the receipts. so Drake's never sued him, right?
No.
So the different music companies are arguing about it. It's always the way that it is. They like to run each other down.
Yeah.
But
Back in the day, in the early 60s, the early 60s, the big rivalry in London, of course, was the Rolling Stones and the Beatles.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones were the, cute teddy bear, or the
Beatles.
had the haircuts, the teddy bears, and all the girls, and the Rolling Stones were these grimy, dirty Londoners, and meanwhile, they're all best friends.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know about this, but a lot of the trash talk is just a lot of talk. It's like vegans in Hollywood, animal rights, and meanwhile, they're like eating steak when they get home in their private mansion. Give me a break.
They do Taco Tuesday together.
That's right.
So
Don't get
I didn't turn the show off. We all watched the show.
It was
And I was
different. I didn't mind it.
I'm not a big fan of the music.
No.
So, I mean, it didn't really do a whole bunch for me. I really like seeing Serena out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was
Serena,
fun.
who's like, in her late 40s and still looks like she could play professional tennis.
Oh, my goodness.
And is just so fit and had a baby and is married and came from nothing. And yeah, you go up there, Serena, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, you get up there, dance, mom, and dance, because it's just magic. Like she was great at that. She was great at that, and she's great at tennis.
Everything.
She's a great mother. Yeah.
I've heard some interviews with Serena Williams, and she is a very bright, exceptionally well-spoken person.
Yeah.
And I have nothing but undying respect for that woman. So,
Totally agree.
she's superb. Okay, so Jays talked about how terrible this team is. So they need to sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
There he is. See the hat? The hat, that symbolizes him leaving and never coming back.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to pay him. Oh, there's Chris Bassett. We'll go back to Vladdy. So there's two reasons people tune in to watch Toronto Blue Jays games. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
And chances are both are gone at the end of the season because the Rogers Communication, who owns the team, who's clueless, doesn't want to pay anybody. So you get rid of those two guys and no one's going to watch your team anymore because there's nothing coming up the pike to even close to the expectation and the excitement of watching those two. And they're going to have breakout seasons because they want to get traded to a good team. And it's just going to be, and pay them or just stop wasting everybody's time, you know?
Well, and I think here's the issue that you got to look at here is they want to pay them, but they don't want to take the money. It's in Canadian dollars, number one. Mm-hmm. So, right now, that $500 million contract's only $350 million.
I don't know how anybody could possibly get by with that kind of money.
Right?
But that's the market.
So
That's the market, right?
yeah. So
if you want to keep people tuning in, you have to spend money to make money. And, he's the most dynamic player they've had. Honestly, I'm trying to think of a player. There's never been a player that generated as much excitement as that guy did.
Yeah.
As a J. And I've been watching them since 1985.
Yep.
They've never had a prospect that's generated that much excitement, who's actually delivered it in the bigs, in the show. And even when he had okay seasons, he's still sitting at like 27 home runs and 97 RBIs.
Yeah.
Right? He got 100 RBIs, 30 home runs, hit for average last year. He's going to do it again this year. He was 19 or 20 when he came up. It takes a long time for guys to mature. Usually guys don't come up until their mid-20s. And he did it as a teenager. And why isn't he like winning 4 batting and 30 for 30? And it's like because he's a kid and it takes time. So him and Bobo are the cornerstone of this franchise. And if they let those two go, I'm stuck watching crap. So yeah.
Well, and I think, it's tough. It is really tough because you've got to make sure that you're paying players, but they got to bring in people, young people, to build around them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the answer is for the Jays.
You don't want to pay anybody, and they went. Who's the pitcher? The young Japanese kid. Sasaki. Jays went all out for Sasaki. A bunch of players went and met him. Hey, come play with us. They did everything they could to get him. He went to the Dodgers because I would go to the Dodgers because they're a better organization developmentally, and you got Shohei who you can actually have a conversation with because someone else in the team speaks Japanese.
Yamamoto.
Yeah. So come on, man, just pay the guy. Like it's just enough. Like enough of being cheap and trying to nickel and dime them. Like I know you're not the Yankees. You don't have the kind of, but you're worth a lot of money. Like pay them. Give them a reason to show up every day. Like the fans. Come on.
So the other thing that's big going on right now is there's a lot of talk of how the World Series championship Dodgers are ruining baseball.
No. Wrong.
And even people that aren't Dodgers fans are saying that the same thing. You hear it a lot. No, Dodgers aren't ruining baseball. The other owners are ruining baseball. They're not investing in their team.
They're not.
And I think that's one of the big things that you see here with the Jays is if you want to be that team, if you want to be contending in the playoffs every year, if you want to be packing the stadium every game, you want to be making that revenue, you got to pay the players. You got to go out and get the good players. Now it's tough because, like I said, we're getting paid in Canadian dollars up here.
Yeah. No, I think the contracts are in U.S. dollars.
Yeah. Okay. But even your dollars. Well, I guess their dollars worth more. If they're getting a U.S. dollar, it's worth more up here.
Yeah, they get paid in U.S. dollars.
The taxes are a lot harder. Like Florida, you have none, right?
Yeah, but still, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. Like
I get that, but there's different aspects to look at it, right? And I think the fact that the Jays have only had 2 really good seasons.
Yeah.
Right, in 92, 93, really speaks a lot to it. But you don't get good without investing in it.
I know.
So they got to put the money in. You want to have a contending team, put the money in it.
If you want to have a sports franchise, you have to be prepared to lose money.
Yeah.
You're not going to make money. And Labatt's Brewery owned the Jays during the 92-93 series under a frame of mind where you spent money to make money.
Yeah.
92-93, the Jays sold out every single game.
Yep.
They were nationally televised. They won Super World Series. Huge. They made $5 million profit in those 2 seasons. They just cleared $5 million. That's $5 million over break even.
Yeah.
You don't make money. You don't own a sports franchise because you think you're going to make money. It's ego, or if you're a Labatt's Brewery, or you're Anheuser-Busch, or Rogers Communication, you use that as part of your marketing to get your product out there, and you make money outside the game. In other aspects. That's what you do. And if you don't want to spend the money to get there, Rogers isn't going to make any money off their cellular and cable packages if no one's tuning into Sportsnet to watch the damn Jays, because the 2 top marquee players they've had this Robbie Alomar aren't there.
Yeah.
So who are you going to, Dalton Varsho, the guy who hits 230? No. Oh, he made a highlight catch. Well, that's great. They lost 9-0 to Pittsburgh. I mean, just.
Yeah. No, you got to invest in your team.
Yeah.
And as a fan, right? You've got to demand that as well.
You do?
I mean, you're going to start making money if you're winning. It's just how it works, right? Fans are going to show up.
It wasn't that long ago. Jays were getting 10,000 fans a game.
Merch is going to go off the shelf.
Staying home.
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah.
But merch will move off the shelf. People will show up to games. Parking revenue. Like people talk about the Dodgers now like it's always been this way. But I lived through the Frank McCourt days.
Oh yeah, terrible.
When Frank McCourt and his wife bought the team, they had to leverage themselves, financial loan after loan after loan, just to buy the team. Could barely pay for the salaries. Major League had to step in a couple of times.
And they went and signed just like random massive free agents.
Yeah.
One pitcher has a really good season. They pay him some monstrosity of a contract, and the guy busts out.
Yeah.
And then fans are paying an extra $15 per ticket, and they're like, what is this crap? And he gets up opening day, Jim Brown or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just crapped out, and everyone's booing him. Oh, yeah, I would have booed. Like, you're booing you because you suck. You know, so
and then they're good players. They're good players.
Yeah.
They traded away because they couldn't afford the salary.
Yeah.
Because they had to pay for whatever divorce they started going through and whatnot. It was crazy. And you're going to have periods like that in an organization's lifetime, right? Where you're going to have your ups and your downs. You're going to have your peaks and your valleys. And it's going to come, right? But when you are climbing and you're starting to peak, if you put more coal in the engine, it climbs the mountain higher.
Right.
You know, you got to do it. And the Dodgers are at a point right now where they were, the bridesmaid year after year after year, and they wanted to get over that hump. And they said, we're going to do this. Yeah. And they did. And then 2020 they won. They've had a couple of rough years since, injuries and whatnot. And then they're like, what else do we have to do? We want to get back there again. They went out and they got Shohei. They got Yamamoto. They got, the players that they needed to get. And they're back there again. Last year, Mookie Betts. Well, Mookie Betts was of 2021.
Yeah.
So,
but they got Mookie Betts to get there in the first place.
To get there.
Yeah.
They had to say goodbye to players that they loved. Yeah. Justin Turner was a Dodger for a long time, and everybody loved him. But you didn't have room for him anymore. Walker Buehler was this year's casualty. The guy threw three up, three down in the bottom of the ninth to win the World Series this year for us, right? Yeah. After starting the day before, he came in and shut the game down. So you got to say goodbye to some of these guys. But you got to invest if you want to win.
Exactly. And for Walker Buehler, I'm a bigger fan of his brother, Texas Ranger. But anyway. And you know what? No, honestly, the Dodgers are on top right now.
Yeah.
And in 4 or 5 seasons, Shohei's going to be banged up.
Yep.
Mookie's going to be retiring, and they're going to crash again, right? But you win. Biggest mistake. Well, a couple of things happened with the Jays after 92-93. There was a strike that didn't help.
Yeah.
Ownership changed because S.A. Interbrew bought this team with this massive, all of a sudden it was losing money, and they're like, "What's a baseball team?" So, whatever. But the biggest problem with the Jays after 92-93, they didn't look themselves in the mirror and realistically go, "We're not going to keep winning." So where's our 5-year plan?
Yeah.
You win your back-to-back World Series. You're on top for a while. Guys are getting older. You know what? Let's sit down realistically, get a 5-year plan. That's when you dump the veterans, you get the prospects, you get the draft picks, you invest not in the team, in the show, but in the player development side of things, and you get the good coaches and trainers, and you bring the young guys up, and in 5 years you're competitive again, and the cycle begins. The Jays got better under Gordash, but that was the Red Sox-Yankees era with Derek Jeter and stuff. So if there was a wild card back then, they probably would have gotten a wild card spot, I guess.
Yeah.
But you just don't know, and whatever. It's just law of averages. Like it just goes down, goes up.
I mean, they were in the playoffs just a couple of years
ago. They were.
Yeah.
They made the wild card, and it was exciting. The Jose Bautista bat flip.
Yeah, that's right.
But they stopped winning, and then the fans stopped showing up.
Yeah.
And it's very, very fickle these days. Steve Rogers, who was a Montreal Expos pitcher forever, talked about the era. Both teams are 15 games out in September, and they'd roll into St. Louis. It's pouring rain outside, and there's 35,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
Those days don't exist, not even in St. Louis anymore.
No.
So it's really tough to keep fans interested, and Vlady is one way to do it, and they're too cheap to do anything about it.
Well, and with the way the economy is, the entertainment dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to.
No.
So people are a lot pickier about it.
Yeah.
You'd have people would buy season tickets and miss half the games.
Yeah.
And not even give away the seats or anything.
You
right?
can get a ticket to a Leafs game for $50.
Yeah.
And $15 for a Jays game. And now those Leaf tickets are $250. And the Jays are probably, $50 or $60.
No, 90 to 100.
90 to 100. So it's expensive.
Cheap seats anymore.
Yeah, and people just don't go out the way they used to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Abbotsford Canucks are the Canucks farm team, and they can't even sell out.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, the Chilliwack Chiefs used to have the barn with 3,500 people, and it was standing room only. And now, it's the 6,000 seat hockey arena is half empty. So people just don't go out the way they used to. The world is a different place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you can watch it on TV.
And you can watch it on TV, your phone.
Yeah.
Your
phone, yeah.
Watch it on your phone, watch it anywhere on your watch.
Yeah.
your glasses. NFL's always got it because it's, one game on Sunday, and there's only so many home games, so you have to go.
Yeah.
Right? So, but
anyway. Now, you got a video for us.
Oh, yes. So last night, Friday, the 28th, my son, Benny Amy, the butcher, had his second ever Muay Thai fight, and that's been in the red gloves.
Yeah.
He did not win. He went 3 rounds and fought like a demon, and he was super confident after the fight as he was before the fight. So I'm very, very proud of him. Everybody thought he fought brilliantly. And the young man he's fighting against, I'm terribly sorry to the family, I've forgotten his name. We ended up sitting next to his parents, Barb and I, by accident when we sat down. Which one's your son? Oh, Ben Amy. Oh, he's fighting against my son. I'm like, oh my God. And the funny, cute thing is, they went at it for 3 straight rounds. Oh God, I can't remember the poor kid's name. He wins and, stands up, gets his arm up, and here's the winner. And Ben stops, puts his arm around him, and they get their picture taken together.
Yeah,
and then he goes off. Yeah, so they fought. He wrapped him up a lot like this. So Benny needs to work. That elbow right there, that's what freaked Ben out.
Yeah.
That elbow, he delivered an elbow like that, and that's what got in Benny's head, and then Benny sort of backed off a bit. So it's a growing thing. He leaps and bounds over his last fight, and he did a superb job and fought really hard. I am super proud of him, and he was very proud of himself.
I watched this last night because you threw it up on your Facebook page. So I watched it last night, and I love the way that he gets in there. They're standing toe to toe. They're delivering blows. They're scrapping. But the guy in the blue gloves starts moving forward. Ben steps back.
Yeah,
he's got to lock those knees down and not let himself get moved back into the corner like that.
Yeah, it's a journey, right? He's going to look at that video. The whole fight will go on YouTube soon enough. We'll get it up on our podcast. And he's going to look at the video. And good knees.
Yeah,
great knees. He's lacking the knockout punch. What was the text I sent him? I'll get this super quick. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I sent him a text.
Yeah.
Find my text to Ben now.
Twice there he gets walked back into the corner. And he's got to figure out a way to stop that.
I sent him a text from a guy named Joseph Campbell. Quote, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." Okay, now apply that.
That's a good one.
Apply that to Muay Thai. Where's your mental block? Yeah. Where's the one thing he needs a knockout punch, and when he gets to that knockout punch, that mental barrier that holds him back, that's when he's going to start knocking guys out. We saw that in football. A lot of young kids, they hesitate right before a tackle. They hesitate before coming in, after the handoff up the middle against the O-line. There's a little hesitation. They don't want to get hurt. When you get rid of that little hesitation, and that's when they become better football players. That is the treasure you seek. So it's just going to take time. It's a mental game.
100%.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I think that's great here.
I don't think he ate anything all day. Like he ate breakfast and a little bit of lunch. Oh, I'm fine. You have to eat. So he ran out of gas too. Yeah. And he's 19 and knows everything. So eat something, Ben. Eat. Well, don't get bloated. You're not going to fight for 2 hours. Get there at 5. Eat something. Have
even
a half a
protein
donair.
bar or something like that. Yeah,
grab a couple of hot dogs. Like don't get fries and a Coke and a milkshake, but just get some food in your stomach.
That way they hit you in the stomach, you throw up on them, and they want to quit, right?
Yeah, there you go. Wipe up, they puke, keep going. It's like the party days in university.
So this week also, we had the Combine.
Yes.
Going on this week. We didn't talk about it today. We're gonna
on another
recap
podcast.
it.
Yeah.
Recap it maybe for next week. And maybe start some NFL draft discussions because that's coming up in about a month or 2 months.
Yep.
End of April.
Yep.
Right.
A little more MLB.
A little more, MLB preseason.
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about that coming up here, and NHL's be moving into the playoffs pretty quick.
Pretty exciting.
So we got a lot on the go.
Okay.
A lot on the go, but right now,
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe
on YouTube. Off Topic Tim and Matt, our sports podcast where we always go. Off topic. All right.
All right. Have a good week.
Woo!